Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Amphibian Press podcast. Today, I'm here with science fiction author Kay L Moody, and we're going to talk about her Truth Seer series. Wow, that was almost a tongue twister to say it out loud. Hi, and how are you?
I am great, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have you. I'm really excited about your series. It looks really interesting. Tell us a little bit about book one, Truth Seer.
Okay, so pretty simply, the plot is there's a girl, she's the main character, Imara, and her sister gets kidnapped, so she has to go rescue her. And it's pretty cool because the rescue has to take place in the catacombs, and it's these Egyptian catacombs, and within the catacombs there are illusions that Imara has to see past.
That's cool. I was reading the description and you mentioned that she has senses that make her a truth seer. Can
Yes,
you tell
I
us
know.
what that means?
Yes. So, okay, the story takes place 100 years in the future, and it's explained a lot better in the book. But everybody has sort of these powers. They're not very powerful, so I struggle to say power, but they have just abilities like we have, except for they've um, made them a lot stronger, I guess. So hers is she is a truth seer. So she is actually able to see emotions coming off of people. They look like colors to her. So each color or each emotion has a specific color and shape. And so she recognizes those things. And she can see off of a person's body when they're lying or telling the truth. And because of her skill, because of her being a truth seer, she's able to see past these illusions in a way that no one else can.
So are these like just natural evolution of humans, or is it something that was done to them to make them stronger?
Yes, it is natural evolution. They're just kind of, everybody has a different skill, and like I said, they're not super powerful. Hers is kind of the coolest one because she's the main character, but they do. It's just kind of like you think about some people are good at, I don't know, they're really flexible. So it's just like they would take that skill and hone it to a level that seems to us, in our day, like a superpower. But 100 years in the future, it's just their special ability that they've practiced to make it that strong.
So when they grow up, is it like they figure out what their ability is and then they just work on it their whole life?
No, not everybody works on it to that level. They gain it around puberty. They don't have it when they're born. Around adolescence is when they're kind of figuring out what their skill is, and every person has one that is their main skill. And everybody has it, but not everybody practices it as much as most of the characters in this book. The story actually begins at a school, and at this school, it's the best school in the world for these gifts, and those characters have honed those abilities as much as possible, but not everybody in the world does.
Okay. So in the first book, Imara's sister is kidnapped. So what is the world like and who kidnapped her? What's the conflict? What's going on there?
Okay, so they're at a graduation party for the school, and these people come, and they're called the taggers. And the taggers do this thing where they want people to have a tag attached to their name. So they have this belief that if somebody has done something wrong, then they should be tagged with that crime for the rest of their life. And they've kind of been around for a while, and everybody just thinks they're crazy and ignores them. So at this graduation party, they kind of take action to force people to start listening to their ideas. And what they do is they kidnap a bunch of people. Not a bunch, a handful of people.
Interesting. So they're kind of just like extremists. that
Yes, exactly.
try to ignore.
Exactly. Everyone's kind of like, you guys are crazy.
um, so Imara's sister is one of the people who gets kidnapped. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Very, very interesting world you've got going. So you have book 1 and 2 are out now, and book 3 is coming out in July. Is there anything, is it, let me think of how to word this. um As I don't want to give anything away for book 1, but is there anything that you can tell us about book 2 without ruining the ending of book 1?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I've got to go take care of something really fast. Yes, so book 2 takes place in a different city. Both book 1 and book 2 take place in Egypt, but book 2 takes place in a different city. And there are kind of two different people that they're fighting. Sorry.
It's okay.
So there's two different people, and the conflict of the first book, the Taggers, are still there in book 2, but they're under different leadership, and let's just say that the different leaders have very different styles of how they think they need to get attention.
So once this series is done, because it's a trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once
Yes.
this is done, what's next for you? Do you have other things coming down the pipe, or?
Of course, I am a huge planner, so I have way too many ideas that I think I will be able to do, and I maybe won't be able to do all of them. But I do have a series planned already to go after this one. And I don't want to give anything away about it because it's still in the works. So I'm not sure exactly how it's all going to work out, but I am very excited about it.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. Obviously, you're a mom. For those of you who are on the audio, she just picked up her baby. So, so you're a mom. What brought you to writing?
I've always been a writer. I have just always loved it. I have, just kind of I've been through some difficult things in my life, and that writing was just a really good solace to me, to escape into these worlds, and especially being able to have my characters overcome the things that maybe I felt like I couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my writing has evolved. Back then it was a lot more therapeutic, and now it's just a lot more for fun. And not that it's not therapeutic, it is still, but that's kind of where it started for me. But I've just always loved it, and I always wanted to write books, and I honestly did not think I ever would. Like, I never thought I would be that good. So it's been cool to get to this point in my life.
Well, I'm glad you got here because I'm excited to read your books.
Oh, good.
Goodness. Tell us a little bit more about your main character, Imara.
Okay. So she is actually from Kenya, so actually let me talk a little bit more about the abilities that people have too, because that relates to her. So they say 100 years ago is when the first of the special abilities was discovered, and it was in Kenya. And I just always knew that I really wanted the first person who discovered this ability to be from the same place as my main character. So she's from Kenya, and they live in this world where the country of Africa is really important because of these skills, and everybody just kind of started to move there, and the world kind of changed. So Amara is from Kenya, and it's a really important country in the world. she's very brave. She is really, really selfless also. She will help people without thinking. But she also, because of her ability, she doesn't trust people. And
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a problem in her life.
Nice. How old is she when this takes place?
She's 21.
Okay. So the school for people with abilities is more college or high school?
It's actually just like a summer school. They go to
Okay.
their regular school, and they only go there during the summer, but it lasts from like 12 to 24.
Okay.
So we go throughout high school, college, all of that. It's just in the summer.
Interesting. So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I know this, I just had this, it just came from this like picture in my head of these people were going through this dark tunnel, and they all saw different things. So they'd see something that was like really safe, like, I don't know, a bouquet of flowers growing out of the ground, or something, not bouquet, but a tuft of flowers growing out of the ground. And really, they all thought it was just flowers, but this girl could see that it was like a bunch of knives sticking out of the ground, and then they saw this, like, it looked like there was this bed, but really it was this deep hole, and so the things that looked like they were safe were actually dangerous, and the things that were dangerous were actually safe. And the story evolved a lot from there. but sorry, he's got a nasty cough.
That's all right.
Anyway, so that's where it started, though, with that scene of the things that looked dangerous were safe, and the things that were safe looked dangerous. And she was the only one that could see.
Yeah, I really like that. What other kind of abilities show up in the book?
Okay, so her sister, Imara's sister, is a weather taster. So she can kind of, she can like open her mouth and taste the stuff that's in the air. And because of that, she can predict the weather. She can taste the humidity and the temperature of the air and just kind of predict the weather based on that. There's also a smell master. So he has little spray bottles that he takes with him of different smells. And he can use these spray bottles to basically create any smell, to match a smell, to neutralize a smell, those kind of things. There's also a character who has elemental hearing. So he can tap on an object and tell what it's made of just by listening to it. Those are the main ones. I'm trying to think of those. Yeah, those are the main ones of the book.
How did you come up with that? Because I never would have thought of elemental hearing, like if I was trying to write this.
I don't know. It was not easy, though. I had to like really think about this. It's been one of the hard. I'd think of like, what's a different sense that we could use to figure out this, what's a different sense that we could use for this? And then, and then thinking about like, what are natural skills? Like in the second book, one of my characters has photographic memory. So I say, like, that's one of the few, of these abilities that people actually recognized before,
Mm-hmm.
So I just basically made a huge list and kept the coolest ones.
Do you have any characters like who have a disability like blindness, so then their hearing is better or anything like that going on?
Interesting. I do not, although it's interesting you say that, because I actually have a few short stories and books and stuff where I do have characters with disabilities, but I didn't with this book. So that's interesting that I didn't, because it's usually a theme with me.
Yeah, I wondered because, you just think about people with extreme abilities, and a lot of times it's because one of them was taken away. So I just wondered.
Yeah.
And how how would you describe this? Is this like an action adventure kind of a story, or?
Yes, it's definitely action adventure. It's kind of, people have called it Indiana Jones mashed with Lara Croft Tomb Raider. That's a combination I get a lot.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, it's more dystopian. That's the genre that most people put it into, you know, in the lines of the Hunger Games or the Maze Runner, those kind of things, especially because it's in the future. But the first book is cool because you're in the catacombs, and the other books are not in a setting quite as cool, but they have a lot more going on, so it's fun.
So when you started, did you know this was going to be a trilogy, or did you think it was going to be a standalone that morphed?
I did plan on it being a trilogy. Sorry.
Sorry.
But I definitely started the first book with no idea what was going to happen in the others. And now it's funny that I say that, because now I can't imagine it happening any other way. You know, it's like, of course, this is where it was leading the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, the writing process is interesting.
Yes. I've done it both ways, you know, where it's where I've known from the beginning how things were going to turn out, and now I've done it this way where I didn't.
How do you juggle writing with a family?
Oh, I don't know.
I do it too, and I also don't know. So
Yeah. Just write when I can and deal with other stuff when I have to.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. I've left many a dish in the sink so I could get my writing done. Yeah, I had my my husband take my daughter to see his mom while we did this, so that's
Well,
what I
there
do.
you go. That's what you have to do sometimes, right?
That's what I do. All right, so where can everybody find you online?
My website, kaylmoody.com. I am pretty good about keeping up with that. I do a new short story every month, and I have a few other little things on there. My books are available at most retailers now. I'm still working on getting my paperbacks available at other retailers, but they should be there. Oh, well, they should be there now, I guess.
When this airs, yeah.
When this goes out, yes. Not today, but later this week it should be. So.
Awesome. Are you on any social media?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I can't believe I forgot. My Instagram is my favorite.
Okay.
Definitely my Instagram, Kay L Moody is my username. It's just KAYL Moody. I
I'll
love.
link to it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I love Instagram. So my Instagram is where I mostly focus. But I do have a Facebook page also and a Twitter. And I actually am pretty active on Goodreads. It's pretty easy to find me on Goodreads. So I love using Goodreads.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I'll link to all of that below so everybody can find you. And do you have a release date for book 3?
Yes, it is July 1st, 2019.
My brother's anniversary.
Oh, there you go. I actually have a son whose birthday is is about a week later, and he was kind of upset that I didn't release on his birthday. I'm like, well, it's fine. Nobody knows it's your birthday.
Well, you know, planning a birthday and planning a book release are kind of two really big things, so let's not do them at the same time, please.
Exactly.
I take the whole week off before my kids' birthdays from everything just to get ready. So
that's awesome. Good for you. I do not plan that much. Maybe I should.
I have to, because I started making really detailed cakes for my kids and now they expect them.
Oh, yes.
So, and actually my nephew asked me for a Mary Poppins cake. He's turning 18 and he wants a Mary Poppins cake.
That's so cool.
So I'm trying to figure out how to make the Royal Dalton bowl kind of like be coming out of the cake. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, so all right, so make sure you check out Kay L Moody at her website. She said she's got short stories there, so check that out. Have a look at her first book so that you can be caught up by the time you get to July when she releases her third. All right, bye everybody.